Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies, Mrs. Wilkins, Most Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Eric Kant, Chargé d'Affaires of the United States Embassy and other members of the Diplomatic Corps, Professor Monroe of National Integrity Action, this integrity champions who are being certified here today, ladies and gentlemen all, good afternoon. Perhaps permit me first of all to, in a very special way, add my word of welcome to everyone here. You all happen to be in East Central St. Andrew, which I have the privilege to represent in the Parliament. It's not generally well known, but this Marlborough High School is one of the better and more recognized schools in the constituency. But I particularly want to begin this afternoon by congratulating, first of all, CVSS and National Integrity Action and USAID for this very important initiative in launching this program and in fact, providing support, guidance for this program intended to certify the 300 plus integrity champions who are being certified here this afternoon. And I want to ask you to give NIA, CVSS, and USAID a round of applause for them. And I'd also like to congratulate all the integrity champions who are being recognized here this afternoon. I want to commend you for your patriotic commitment, for your courage in standing up, and to say to you that perhaps the most important contribution that you can all make is to help generate a culture of law-abidingness, a culture of respect for the rules, a culture that recognizes the consequences of corrupt behavior for our country and its ability to make progress. I think it is becoming increasingly clear that all efforts at economic and social advancement for our country and all efforts to arrest the spiraling crime rate are being undermined by increasing corruption at all levels of the society. Moreover, the available evidence suggests that the situation is getting worse, not getting better. Over the past year, according to Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index, Jamaica slipped 14 places from its already unenviable position of 69 in 2015 to 83 in 2016. One might also say that locally, despite the passage over the past 4 decades of important pieces of legislation, beginning with the Parliamentary Integrity of Members Act in 1973, including in the 1980s, the Contractor General's Act, the Corruption Prevention Act in the 1990s, the Protected Disclosures Whistleblower legislation in 2011, the Political Code of Conduct, which was signed in the 1980s, the Proceeds of Crime Act in the early part of this century, in the first decade. Despite all of that, there is a general perception among our people that corruption persists at all levels of public life and in the political system in particular and the public sector generally. The situation is not going to be helped by merely talking about it. We must lead by example, and we need a tradition of increased activism to arrest corrupt behavior in the society. This means activism at all levels, at the top of our political system, in our parliament, in our political parties, and at all levels of the society, in the public sector, in the police force, in our customs services, in all our institutions. It hardly helps when there is no response to reports of corruption and when the institutions that are required to enforce seem powerless to act. The key step, in my view, that we all need to focus on is to ensure more effective enforcement of the laws which we have. There are too many instances where there are reported breaches, whether by the contractor general or other reports where no action is taken, whether under the Parliamentary Integrity of Members Act or the Corruption Prevention Act, where no action is taken. When no action is taken, there is a general sense that spreads across the entire society that authorities are either unwilling or unable to arrest the scourge of corruption. And when that happens, we weaken the integrity of all our institutions. We are seeing the effects in the political system with declining levels of citizen participation in the electoral process and in the system generally. We are seeing a loss of confidence in the country's leadership, an unwillingness to trust key agents of the law, as evidenced in the so-called informer for dead culture, because there is no trust in the ability of the law enforcement institutions to in fact uphold the law. A second consequence of the spread of the scourge of corruption is that it weakens our national norms, it weakens our national culture, it weakens our commitment to resist the spread of corruption. More and more people get willing to pay, whether it is for an improper examination of the motor vehicle, or whether it is to get something through customs or the transfer of property elsewhere. It becomes too often the standard that people think that a corner can be cut because I just saw the runnings come. My hope is that this group of integrity champions will represent an important element in the fight to resist the spread of that kind of debilitating norm that the run-ins require, that the rules be broken. And so it is against that background that I particularly welcome this initiative, which has trained some 434 community leaders as key actors in the national fight against corruption. The CVSS has a long and distinguished record coordinating efforts both on the part of voluntary organizations and between those organizations and the state. It has lasted for a long time, and I think we must celebrate it most of all because it recognizes a fundamental fact of our nation, and that is that the patriotic spirit doesn't reside in officials of government or in political institutions, but it resides really and is most effective when it is spread among the vast majority of the ordinary people of the country. And therefore, I'd like to close by once again commending all of you who have stepped up to the plate. It's not going to be an easy road, but it is a necessary road if we are to achieve our collective vision of a Jamaica which delivers on the hopes and aspirations of all the people, and a Jamaican where we are all justly proud of saying we are proud to be Jamaicans because we have a country where integrity of the highest levels lives on and is alive in all our communities. Thank you all again, and commendations to you.